Well, good morning, and welcome again to another live this morning, and hope you're enjoying your day thus far. Hope you had your vitamin C. Can't start your day without that. Okay, just waiting for a few folks to come on. Good morning, Nativity and Suzanne and Mike from Wawa and Lee. Good morning, Lee. And John, our buddy from Elgin, Illinois. Nick, our staff this morning, Rosa, and Tatiana, and Reem, and Kim, Jeanette, part of the staff. Good morning to you. Last show of 2020. 2020, good riddance. Good morning, Jerry, Lucy, Hasib, Nanette, Deb from Timmins. Good morning, Deborah. Hasib, and Pat, and Brenda, and John. Good morning to you. Rita, Gail, and Susan from Alberta. Donna. Thanks for watching, guys. I mean it. And Leanne, and Jeanette, and Yolande. Bonjour. Maria, Cynthia. You guys are great. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Lots of good questions, so I'm going to get going. Gail and Julie and Angelica. No, you get, and you guys are great. Rosa. Morris from North Bay. Here we go. Lynn asked about the China diet. It's been a long time since I've been asked about the China diet. And apparently, if you read it, I looked at this, it's got to be 10, 15 years ago, at least. And it always sort of manifests itself by saying this is the largest study ever done on nutrition. And look, I got to admit to you, okay, I'm biased. If you haven't noticed, I'm biased. But I always look at the background. First of all, the China study, Lynn, was an observational study. They're not the most reliable studies because observational studies they're usually done by questionnaires. Okay, so what did you eat last week? Let me remember. Okay, like it's not a double-blind placebo study, and one group eats this and the other group eats the other thing, and find out what's better for you. It's an observational study, and they're not the reliable studies. And first of all, I think it was a father and son duo. I mean, not stupid people, doctors, but they had an agenda. They were vegans. You want to watch some stuff on Netflix? There's a pile of vegan shows, and they'll tell you. I mean, the biggest thing out of the China study was what? Biggest thing that came out. I mean, if you put it in one sentence, don't eat red meat. They said that fish was good for you, but these were vegans. Otherwise, they said, don't eat meat and don't eat dairy and don't eat cheese and don't eat any of that stuff. So you know me, I'm 100% on the opposite side of the spectrum, but I always remind people, God gave you a gallbladder. You're not a cow. A cow doesn't have a gallbladder because they're to eat grass. Okay? You put them out in the field, they'll eat all day long grass, but they don't have a gallbladder. You need a gallbladder when you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese because you're eating fat. Now, why would you be given that if fat's not good for you? See, because really the China diet is fat-free. You know, I'm sure they would allow you avocados and olives, olive oil. I'm not saying they're bad for you. All I'm saying is that here's how I think, okay? Number one, if God gave you a gallbladder, and if God, what did he do? Hide B12 in red meat and then, oh, sorry, you can't eat it. It's not good for you. I mean, give me, you know what I think about vitamin S? Steak. It's the number one food on the planet. A little asterisk, liver's better, but I don't like liver. But there's nothing better than red meat. It has heme iron. Heme, H-E-M-E. It's the only iron, ladies, that you absorb. And Popeye didn't get strong by eating spinach. He lied. Popeye lied. You get strong by eating meat, and especially red meat. Like, you want me to say it 1,000 times? I'm going to say it. So when I read the China study, who was behind it? Vegans. Folks, it's a religion. It's not science. Because it doesn't make sense, like I said. You got to, oh, by the way, you got a gallbladder? I don't know what they say about that. They probably say, well, it was part of your evolution. And, like they used to say about your tonsils and about your appendix. Oh, tonsils, you don't need them. I remember. Even in school in the 1970s, tonsils. Try and get a doctor to take your tonsils out today. You know what they know about it today compared to what they knew in the 1970s? And I used to scream blue murder. You got tonsils, there's a reason. They're the gatekeepers to your throat. They're the border guards in your throat. You need it. It's like your appendix. A big part of your immune system in your guts and you need an appendix. Can you live without it? Yeah. But that doesn't mean, it was part of, I used to read it. It used to be part of evolution. And you know what? You just didn't get rid of it yet. Give us another billion years and we'll get rid of our gallbladders and tonsils. That's what they used to say. And I guess they're going to start saying it about the gallbladder. You don't need it. You do. And use it or lose it. So, look, guys, this is my program. I don't apologize for being so opinionated. But you asked the question, I'm going to give you my take on it. Now, God gave you a brain, use it. I'm appealing to your common sense. And I'm appealing to you based on all my experience. I'm going to give you my take. I told you about that radio show I listened to the other day. And the guy, part of his theme is, I'm right, they're wrong, and that settles it. I'm going to start using that. I'm right and they're wrong. Look, anyway, okay? I think I've said enough about it. Good question, though. Thanks so much, Lynn. And you know what? I mean, they got studies, okay? They got studies. Where are those studies coming from? And you got to be careful with nutritional studies because a lot of times there's, people who write them have a conflict of interest. They work for the food companies. They work for the cereal companies. So you just got to take it, grain of salt. I get it. I don't know, thousands in a year. I think of 2020. How many studies did I read? 1,000? Maybe not quite that much, but, and you know, some of them I really find very interesting, and some of them, you know, do I dismiss them? Maybe most of it, or, you know, like I look at stuff and I go, yeah, I'm just going to give you what I think. Okay? Now, Nicole's asking, she's starting to reset and worried about potassium and magnesium. Well, let me share something with you. It is a good question, by the way, Nicole. But you rarely have to add anything. I mean, you might take a little bit of potassium. I like potassium, I like magnesium, but you know when you lose, you know how you lose potassium and magnesium? It's when you eat sugar. When you eat sugar, you leach that stuff out. So it's not like when you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you're missing that. It's when you have a crappy carb diet, you can have all the potassium in the world. You can eat bananas and you can have avocados and they're all full of potassium. Problem is, if you're eating sugar with that, you're leaching that stuff out. Sugar will deplete you of minerals. So when you go on the reset, you really, I mean, I like Himalayan salt. I would add it. I like it anyway. You know, everybody's down on sodium. I'm not down on sodium. I'm down on table salt because it's really not salt. It's sodium chloride, and it's been bleached of all its minerals. But I like sea salt, a good sea salt or Himalayan salt. Tremendous. You're meant to eat salt. Okay. Good questions. Mary Lynn, whole wheat carbs, explain. She can't. Mary Lynn, I get it. Because it's whole wheat. Must be good. Well, first of all, no, it's not. Why is that? Well, first of all, whole wheat today generally has no nutrition in it. You know, I explain it in my book. I explain what happened, where bread became a fast food. You see, at one time, you know, even the Bible talked about bread. Man shall not live by bread alone. No, but bread is ordinarily wouldn't be bad for you, but the way they make it today, they take away they have to enrich bread because there's nothing left in it. It really is a fast food. And what happened? I don't care if it's whole wheat, 12 grain, 17 grain, 1,000 grain. It don't matter. It turns to sugar rapidly, and we live in a different world. We have so much carbs. So, you know what I mean? Like, does that mean you can never have bread? I didn't say that. But it's not good for you. It's not a healthy food. And whole grain don't matter because it's still going to be sugar in 5 seconds. No, Dr. Martin, I need my fiber. No, you don't. Fiber's overrated, okay? You need nutrients. And this is why I'm so big on eggs, meat, and cheese. They're full of nutrients, all your vitamins, all your minerals, all your B vitamins, all of them are in there. All. So I don't apologize for it. EMC, eggs, meat, and cheese, eggs, meat, and cheese. There you go. And here's a good, Lynn, there's another Lynn, I think, asking about coffee, cheese causing inflammation. Somebody said it or read it. Again, no. They're anti-inflammatory. Coffee is anti-inflammatory. It's vitamin C, the real vitamin C. It's full of polyphenols. It's full of quercetin. It lowers, now don't put sugar in it and don't put milk in it. If you got to put anything, put cream. Better black. But coffee's good for you. Don't listen to that stuff when they tell you it's no good for you. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's acidic. Nah, no, it's not. It's not? No, it's not. Because when it gets inside your body releases sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. It actually makes it alkaline. And cheese, it causes inflammation. Well, it would if you're allergic to it. Now, some people who are weird have trouble with cheese. If you have trouble with cheese, don't eat it. Some people have trouble with eggs. If you have trouble with eggs, don't eat them. What can I tell you? You got leaky gut. That's a guarantee. You got any kind of food intolerances? Fix the gut. Yeah. Okay. Colleen is asking about pulsed electromagnetic fields as a therapy. Well, you know what? I just got to be honest with you, Colleen. It's not my area of expertise, and I never had any experience with it. I think I had a few patients that tried it. I'm not against it, but that's, to be honest, when I don't know or I haven't had experience with patients coming back and telling me, oh, that's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, see, I go with the bread again. I hardly want to comment because I know what it is, but how good it is, I don't know. So sorry, I can't really answer your question, Colleen. And George asking another question about earthing. Earthing is when you walk around on the ground barefoot, and it's got, it gives you good. It helps with your cells and things like that. Again, I just don't have a lot of experience in terms of it. I've read about it. I'm not against it. But orthopedically, they're saying that like running bare feet and all that. I don't know about that. Okay, because I like having good arches and all that. So I'm not against it, George. Okay, again, I'm not against it. Is it all that it's cracked up to be? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Let me put it that way. I'm just not convinced. But you can convince me. I'm open-minded to it. Okay. Sharon, should I continue on probiotics? I would. I take probiotics every day. Every day. When you read the mountains of, you know what I didn't talk about the other day? We were doing the thing on cancer yesterday. There was a study on probiotics and cancer, and it showed two things. One, if you were on chemotherapy for cancer, probiotics made your chemotherapy even more effective. And secondly, you know what probiotics did? It decreased your side effects of the chemotherapy. Now that was for cancer and people that are getting cancer therapy, chemotherapy. But I'll tell you, probiotics and broad spectrum probiotics, what do I mean by that? That they have at least 10 different strains. It's really important. Okay? It's really important that if you're going to take probiotics, take broad spectrum probiotics. Because you want a variety. Different strains do different things. They're famous for different things. And you want a variety of them. And in this day and age, I recommend probiotics. Every day. Tony Jr. and I think about 5 years ago. It's longer than that. We just came out with a Martin Clinic edict. We made a new thing. Because we used to say, well, look, probiotics at least 2 or 3 times a year And, because we've been talking about probiotics for a long time. Probably, I don't know, but probably longer than anyone else. But we came out, I think it's probably 7 or 8 years ago, and said, you know what, we recommend, okay, as a recommendation, probiotics every day, never to stop. Now, you don't have to take a lot of them, but if you've been taking antibiotics, if you're on any kind of medication, never stop taking probiotics. If you've got candida, yeast, fungus, we're going to answer a few questions about that this morning. Probiotics. Probiotics are part of the pyramid. It's a foundational supplement, in my opinion. Remember what I said? Hippocrates. All diseases start in the gut. Your microbiome, guys. You got to replace bacteria because you're constantly killing it with a bad diet, with the environment, with all these artificial sugars and, I can't stand that stuff, really. But a lot of people, it's in everything. It's everywhere. It's, anyway. Yeah, stay on. Sharon, good question. Innes, lazy, just low energy, hard to motivate yourself. Well, look at Innes. Here's me, okay? Usually, okay, it's not bad attitude, okay? Because I had a lot of parents come in and go, this kid never wants to leave his couch and all that. Well, you know what? First of all, take away the games, but a lot of times there was an underlying, they had a bad diet. They were missing nutrients. When your energy isn't quite right, you're always sort of fatigued. There's something going on. Usually, you're not eating well. You're not eating enough eggs, meat, and cheese. 1, 2, you're missing nutrients. The ones that I find the most with just fatigue, generalized. B12. Common. B12. And usually, when I found people that were just lower end of energy, was they were under a lot of stress, cortisol. Okay, so those are things that are really really important. Okay, so think about those things. B12, a lot of times, and what I give to those patients, usually to start, is I would give them blood boost. Put them on a B12 supplement, give them blood boost. And the blood boost, it's got everything in it for bad eaters. Okay. Anyway, it's a good question. Diane says, where does the ratio between body weight and protein come from? Some guru. He made it up. I'm not big on that. I'm not big on it. I'm not big on counting. I'm not big on counting calories. You don't hear me talk about that. You look at your macros, which is protein, fat, and carbohydrates. You know what? Look, here's what I know about ketosis. Usually a woman got to be under 20 grams and a man under 50 grams of carbohydrates a day to go into ketosis. But, and I always tell people the reset is not a ketotic diet per se. It's not. When people, I'm eating keto. Well, good for you. I like it. I'm not against it. But keto doesn't necessarily, keto is low carbs. The reset is no carbs. Plus high nutrient. High nutrient. And you can be on a ketotic diet and not have a high nutrition diet. As long as you're cutting your carbs, that's ketosis. And like I said, I'm not against ketosis. But the reset People think it's a ketotic diet. It's not. It's not a ketotic diet. Now, you might go into ketosis because you're not eating any carbs. But I'm going to put you on rocket fuel because you're getting all the nutrition you need. That's the difference. I know what ketosis is. I studied ketosis in the 70s. Been around a long time, ketosis. And doctors often, they're so scared of it because in medicine, they don't take nutrition and they think of ketoacidosis, which is a very, very serious condition, usually with diabetics and people in their last few days of life go into ketoacidosis. But that's not ketosis. They mix it up. So you're eating ketotic. But guys, don't, please, because I had somebody on there the other day saying, well, go get the keto book. Well, you can get the keto book, but I'm telling you to get my book. Coming to a theater near you again next week. We're supposed to get more copies, okay? And I explain the difference. And again, I'm not against ketosis. And the question was asked, Diana, like the ratio between protein and your body weight. I don't care. Protein is king and fat is king too. Change your fuel and don't count, okay? Okay, now we're going to get into some conditions. I got 13 questions, so I'm going to go pretty quick. Barb asking about what happens if you have low platelets? What does that mean? Well, low platelets can be a lot of things in blood work. I mean, when a doctor sees low platelets coming back on a blood test, they're concerned about that because it could be cancer, could be leukemia, could be a different cancer. They'll look for that. They're trained to do that. The other thing that I find with low platelets, you see low platelets, low levels of blood, oftentimes it's anemia, and it can be B12 anemia. There's two types of anemia, iron deficient anemia and B12. Because a lot of people don't look at B12 in terms of anemia. It's very important. You're not eating enough steak. That'll give you low platelets. Okay. Cluster headaches, asked by Suzanne. Well, let me, and just generally, Suzanne, I'm going to give you the answer on migraines, cluster headaches, ocular headache. Here's what I found over the years. I'm just going to give you some general. Women are the ones that, not that men can't get migraines, they can, okay? Women get migraines more often than men because they're married to men. I had to put that out there. Ladies, you know I'm on your side. You're married to a man, that'll give you a headache. I couldn't help it. No, but women get headaches more than men. Why? Estrogen. Estrogen dominance. So one of the major things in cluster headaches, major thing in migraines is estrogen. Too much. Estrogen dominance. And it's always based on, remember what estrogen dominance is. Doctor, my doctor says I'm not too high in estrogen. Yeah, but I'm talking about a comparison between estrogen and progesterone. It's always that comparison. See, men's comparison is between estrogen and testosterone. Okay? That's the key. In women, it's estrogen versus progesterone. That's the key for a woman's balance in hormones. Okay? So headaches can be that. A lot of times, and I found the reset for, I mean it, hundreds of patients got rid of headaches, cluster headaches, migraine headaches, by getting their insulin down. Because oftentimes headaches, estrogen, insulin resistance. Your cells hate insulin and they resist it. They go, stop. So when you clean up your diet, and then food intolerances, find out what you don't do well with. Everybody's different. So watch for triggers. Oh yeah, I eat that. And there's nothing wrong with being Dr. Mum or whatever. Be your own doctor. You don't have to get a test. You can take a big $600 allergy test. I used to tell patients this. I said, you want to give me $600? I'll send your blood away and you'll get tested for about 1,000 things. I said, give me $600 and I'll send your blood away. I'll take your blood and send it to a lab that'll do all that testing. And they send me a check back for $200 for the referral, see? But I used to tell them, well, why don't you do it yourself? Do the elimination diet. I like that better. It's cheaper. Stop eating something, wait a week, see how you feel, and then reintroduce it. Ah, jeepers. I'm me on gluten schmooten. Gluten, it's not so much the gluten, it's the carbs. And your body's screaming at you to stop eating all the carbohydrates that you eat. A lot of times it's that. That's why the gut acts up. And that's why a lot of times I rarely ever see an autoimmune disorder of any kind where when you eliminate carbs, what a difference. See, that's what's really inflammatory in your body. It's carbohydrates. Why? It elevates your insulin. And when you elevate your insulin, you get insulin resistance. And when you get insulin resistance, what happens? You create inflammation in the body. Okay. Jerry's asking about dry mouth. Well, look. Oh, by the way, on the headaches too. Always check for low levels of vitamin D, low levels of magnesium. Could be that too. Not usually on their own though. Okay. Jerry asking about dry mouth. Well, what could it be, Jerry? You see, like almost every medication can give you dry mouth, but it also could be a sign of prediabetes. Dry mouth. Okay. Not making enough saliva. Thirsty all the time. Dehydration. Ah, geez, I feel like I'm drinking enough water. Maybe drink more. Okay? So always try to get Jerry at the root of what causes dry mouth. Number one reason is medications for most people. Okay? Because somebody was asking too. I'm going to do this at the same time. Oh, yeah. Iris. Well, she's burping a lot. And even after the reset, well, don't quit, Iris. It can take years to fix all these things in your system. You're on the right track. Make sure, Iris, I'll tell you with burping, make sure you're on probiotics. Probiotics work not just in the gut, they work in your stomach too. And you know what? Make sure you're taking digestive enzymes. Really important, okay? But then she's asking about, she gets a metallic taste in the mouth. Who else? Somebody asked about that. Here, hold on a minute. Oh, Annie was asking about, she has a pale tongue color, a pale, and a metallic taste, okay? Well, I mean, look, the metallic taste can be a couple of things, okay? And I'm very careful because when I was in the office, when somebody told me that, I was always, you know what the first thing I look at? I was looking at the kidney function. So I used to do a kidney function test Because the first sign that your kidneys are not working properly can be a metallic test. The other one is liver. I used to do the liver enzyme test all the time in the office. Because the fatty liver, sometimes you can get a metallic taste. Is there a deficiency? Possibly. Is there high levels of insulin? Possibly. So those are all things that can, and here's another one. It's the first thing that I thought of. A lot of times you get candida in the sinuses, and you have a low-grade infection in the sinuses, and you get post-nasal drip for a lot of people. What is that? Candida. It's yeast. It's a fungal infection. Somebody asked what they're asking about this. Somebody asked here. I got to just get to it. Can you get a fever with that? Rarely, no. Like ordinarily, candida won't give you a fever. It might give you a low-grade fever, but generally, no, you won't get a fever. Somebody, and I'll get to it here, I'll find out who actually asked it here in my notes, but they were asking about candida, and then, you need to be on broad-spectrum probiotic. And you know what I would do? I would do the sniff. Did I ever show you that? Where you put some probiotic, you're not sniffing cocaine, but you actually open up, put a little bit of that probiotic powder, and don't do it in a restaurant. They think you're doing drugs. But take out a little straw and sniff the probiotic and get it in here. It's actually very, very good for you. And you know what's really good for candida too, and the metallic taste, is oil of oregano. Helps to kill the candida. I like the spray, okay? Not pure. Don't put drops in your sinuses of oil of oregano. We have oil of oregano, by the way, in our digestive enzyme. We do it to kill SIBO and H. pylori. Oftentimes, H. pylori can give you a metallic taste. Okay, that's a bacteria. So, anyway, lots of good questions, okay? And Jennifer's asking about Raynaud's disease or syndrome. Raynaud's disease is an autoimmune disease, okay? And it's characterized, it can be part of like Sjogren's, rheumatoid arthritis, different autoimmunes. And it's usually when cold really affects, you get white fingertip, cold nose. It can be Raynaud's. Because the question is, what causes that? Well, it can be high stress, anxiety. I've seen that, where cortisol, high levels of cortisol can affect that. And somebody was asking, let me get to this one here. Oh, yes. Deb is asking about cortisol and the vagus nerve, okay? Well, the vagus nerve is what connects your brain to your gut. It's your 10th cranial nerve, okay? The vagus nerve, not Las Vegas, the vagus nerve. And there's a connection between your brain and your gut. And, you ever get butterflies? Well, I've got to make a public announcement. Like, I'm not scared. For me, you put me in front of a camera, I won't shut up. But you put some people in front of a camera and they're, like they get the butterflies and they're sick like dogs. Right? Well, that's the vagus nerve. You get butterflies from that. So yeah, stress, the stress, Deb, there is a huge connection between those two, that. And the supplement is cortisol formula. There's nothing better for you than that, in my opinion, okay? But even in Raynaud's, there's always a gut connection. Any autoimmune at all is is there's leaky gut component every time. I've never seen an exception to it. Fix that. Okay? Fix that. Really important. Okay? And Camilla's asking about cortisol. Well, it's high during the day. Well, cortisol should be higher during the day. It shouldn't be through the roof, but it's higher. As you get up, cortisol goes according to the circadian rhythm. So when you get up in the morning, of course, cortisol is going to be a little bit higher. Why? Well, it's waking you up. And then it sort of tails off and, goes down so that you get a good night's sleep at night. That's the way it is. But a lot of people are upside down. The cortisol is very high at night and low during the day. And by the way, it's just me, okay? I've never been huge on the blood test for cortisol. I'm a symptom guy when it comes to cortisol. Like, not that I never measured it, but I never would talk about cortisol unless you had symptoms. Brain fog, exhaustion, cravings for sugar. A lot of things like, even anxiety, nausea. I'm nauseous. Why? Well, it's usually your cortisol's too high. And those all can have an effect on that, okay? So, good questions, okay? Natalie's asking about polyps in the colon. Well, if you have polyps, and the only way to really know that is if they do a colonoscopy, right? But polyps, remember, they can be precancerous, but they need to grow in order to turn into cancer, so don't feed them. Polyps want insulin. They want sugar. Don't eat sugar. It's amazing. I talked about this, I think it was yesterday. One of the biggest cancers in young people today is colon cancer. It's affecting young people. Today it's crazy. Well, you know what? What is that? What is that? Sugar. Because it makes yeast grow. Fungus. And most cancers are fungal based. So you're feeding the bear. Susanna asking about congestive heart failure. Yeah, we see a lot of it. Can you reverse it? It depends. But what can cause it? Well, kidneys and the heart muscle. You know what? I've talked about this in the past. One of the biggest deficiencies that we have is protein. Protein deficiencies. Most young people, they don't eat near enough protein because they don't eat meat and they don't eat enough eggs and they don't eat enough cheese. And your heart is a muscle. And one of the big things that make your muscle, this is why we see so much atrial fibrillation today and congestive heart failure. The muscle gets so weak. You need CoQ10. CoQ10. Guess where you find your body makes CoQ10. But guess what it makes it from? Food. And guess what kind of food? Protein. Vitamin S, steak. Okay? Answered. Helena, gallbladder, low carb. Oh yeah, she said, well, her gallbladder's bugging her since she went high fat. Well, it's because you didn't use it, Helena, probably for 20, I don't know how old you are. Use it or lose it. But you can regenerate the gallbladder. So, don't live on fat and enormous amounts of it. And here's one good tip on the gallbladder. Stop eating at night. Don't eat at night. Give your gallbladder a break. Give your whole digestive tract a break. Try and stop eating around 5 o'clock. And you can, if you can, practice some intermittent fasting, and that will really help regenerate your gallbladder. But you need to use it. And now you're using it, and it's acting up. It's like waking up a bear during hibernation. Don't do it. Okay. Wendy. And I already asked that question. Okay. Wendy asked about possible fever. And I got, you know what? I've answered all the questions, and well, no wonder it's 9:15. Okay, guys. So a couple of things. On Monday, we'll probably start Tuesday, the first group, but then every Monday in January, and it may be even longer, we're going to start a new cycle of reset. Okay? We're going to start a new cycle of reset. Now, for those who want to do, if you've never done the reset, I recommend you do the 1 month, 30-day. There's a reason for it. Please do the 30-day. Now, I'm going to, for people who just want to clean their liver out and have done the reset in the past, I'm going to give you an option to join us next week for a 1-week reset, for just to do it for a week, to clean that liver out, okay? Because those have been eating real good and maybe just a little bit of cheating at Christmas and that. We're going to do a reset together if you want. You can sign up for it. And signing up means we're just, we're going to, we'll keep you accountable. Accountability is a good thing, okay? So we're going to do that. And we're going to start on Monday, maybe Tuesday. Well, Monday I'm going to talk about it. So Tuesday, well, we'll see. You can start Monday too. Start Monday morning with me. Okay. Last show of the year. Have a happy new year. Okay? Have a happy new year. I mean that. And dearly love all of our members. We really do. We're so thankful for you. Okay? So you guys have a very, very good 2021 coming up. Okay, love you.